Hey everyone, my name's Matty. I'm a local photographer here in Guelph, Ontario. I have some people from time to time just asking how I edit my photos. I just wanted to go through the things I go through, and you can apply that to your own photos, your own videos. So with that being said, we can just dive on in. Immediately what stands out to me here is that not a whole lot has to be changed in the lighting and color aspect of the photo. Here at the histogram, it is more on the dark side. You do want this to be as level as possible. Properly expose your photos. First off is we're just gonna expose it up just a tiny bit just to get some of those shadows out. And one of the main things I do after to pull some more detail out is almost getting rid of the shadows completely. From there, everything else is starting to look pretty good. I might just come down here and adjust my point curve. And the main thing you want to remember with using the point graph, curve, whatever you want to call it, is S-curve is going to be your best friend. If you want to do a drastic S-curve and make it, completely crazy, something like that, could make it work, but in this case, we're not going to. We just want a slight S in there. And when you're looking on this, over on this side, you will have your highlights. Over here, you'll have your shadows, and in the middle, you got your midtones. So just a simple dragging back and forth of that, you can tell how drastically that changes everything. So there's our S there. I am fairly happy with that. So the next thing I look at is the image is still kind of dark. So I'm just going to come up to the exposure and just put it up, stop there, and that's perfect. So if you wanted to stop here and not do anything, I personally think we're at a standstill as a good photo. But if you wanted to go kind of a little further in depth, we're just going to go down to the color mixer here. And blue is our main color, so we're just going to start to play around with that one first. You can change this to be a purple BMW if you really want to, or just a extremely light teal kind of color. That is the one benefit of having Lightroom, is that you can pick out of all these colors, you can change the hue, saturation, and how bright the image is. I personally liked how blue a Beamer was in the first place, so I'm going to keep the color the same. But what I want to do is just put a little more saturation behind it to really pop your eye to that. And then I'm just going to hit it with a little more brightness. Perfect. Now, the only last thing I would do to this photo is single out the car. Right now, we do know that the car is our main subject, but it still kind of blends into the back. So what I'm going to do is come down to the vignette, and I'm just going to put that around 30 or so. And because I don't like how dark this gets, what I want to do here is just throw the highlights all the way up, and I will take my feather and just put it in and around the 68 kind of deal. The background, which, because there's no brown, we have to kind of figure out which one would be the closest. I go with the orange, and the best way to tell is just come down to the brightness of that exact color, and I usually just go back and forth to see what it's going to affect in the photo. So for instance, this is going to affect the ground and just this right there, which I'm fine with. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all the color away from it, kind of give it not a icy warm day, but it's just going to go straight to almost cold. So we just took all the color out of that. Perfect. So at this point, I am very happy with where the photo is. If you wanted to kind of put a little more effort into blacking out the windows, it would be more of a Photoshop way. I just wanted to give you guys more of a kind of hands-on best way to quickly edit your photo. Hopefully it only takes you about 5 minutes or so. For exporting, Instagram highly recommends 5x4. It's something I do with all my photos just to make sure nothing's getting cut off. If you have an image where you don't want it cropped, but you still post it to Instagram, a really good tip is just saving it as an Instagram file as 5x4 and going back and just saving it as your original copy. That way you have two, you don't have to compromise, and you can use both for both features. I'm just going to crop it to 5x4. I like it there. We hit export. Export. We are just going to put it right, just like that. Hopefully that helps some of you out in ways to kind of change the color around, some of the exposure, play with the shadows and highlights and all. And this is my final product here. If you click F, it'll bring you to your full screen. You can see it completely isolated without anything else. And yeah, I'm perfectly happy with where we landed on that photo. And you're all good. Hopefully that helped you out in a way to improve some of your either photography skills or just the way you edit photos in general. I'll catch you on the next one.